children, hope you are good, safe at home. Today we are going to discuss about cropping patterns. What are cropping patterns? As we know, the farmer used to raise a single variety of crop in the available piece of land. Instead of that, if the farmer cultivates two or more different varieties in the same piece of land, it is called as cropping patterns. By this, the farmer will get benefited. The different types of patterns what we are going to learn in this topic are mixed cropping, intercropping, and also crop rotation methods. Let's discuss one by one in detail. The first topic what we are going to discuss is mixed cropping method. In mixed cropping method, we'll select two or more varieties of crops to cultivate on the same piece of land. But here, the farmer will not follow any pattern to raise the crops. And when the farmer is selecting a particular combinations, he has to observe certain things like the nutrition requirements of the particular combination should be different, so that there will be no competition for food. The combinations may be like wheat and gram, wheat and mustard, and also maybe sunflower and groundnut. And the purpose of starting this mixed cropping is we can assure crop failure. As we are raising two or more different types of crops, we can expect more yield. If any case one of the crop gets damaged, the other crops gets flourished. And the another thing, we can avoid the spread of diseases also. This is called as mixed cropping method. And the next one we are going to discuss is intercropping method. What is intercropping method? This is the advanced method of mixed cropping. Here, as how the mixed cropping will take place, in the same way the farmer will select two different varieties of crops or more than that. But here the farmer will follow a particular sequence. If we take an example, if the farmer raises the soybean and the maize crops, the farmer will follow a particular sequence like this. He used to sow the seeds of soybean in a row, and that row will be alternated with maize seeds again. And again it will be altered with soybean and again maize, so that no mixing of harvest. Here also, when the farmer is taking the combinations, he also needs to observe that the nutrition requirement should be different for both the crops. Here also the reason is same. If the nutrition requirement is different for the different crops, there will be no competition for food. And the nutrition supplement is also fulfilled. In addition to this, we can avoid the spread of diseases. If we are able to perform the intercropping method in a successful way, we can expect benefit from both the crops. This is called as intercropping method. And the third type of method what we are going to discuss is crop rotation method. What is crop rotation method? In crop rotation method, we are going to grow the same crop by the alternate years. Children, if we grow the same crop continuously for the years and years, what do we observe? Definitely, the fertility of the soil will get decreased. To avoid that, if we alter the crops year by year, definitely we can increase the fertility. If we take an example like the particular area, now we have started with leguminous plants, and after the harvest we have to raise a cereal crop. As we know, children, the leguminous plants contains root nodules which contains nitrogen fixing bacteria which will convert atmospheric nitrogen into nitrates. So nitrogen chemical or the component will be nourished in the particular soil. When we alter this leguminous crop with the cereal crop, definitely the soil stability will be maintained, and there is no need to supply nitrogen fertilizers in more amounts. So if we follow this crop rotation method, we can increase soil fertility. The amount of moisture and the irrigation facilities will decide the choice of the crop. As this is the pre-planned method, if we are able to irrigate the fields very well with this crop rotation method, definitely we can expect good harvest. This is called as crop rotation method. So children, let's discuss about crop protection management now. What is this crop protection management actually? From whom we need to protect the crop plants? We need to protect the crop plants from insect pests, weeds, and also from diseases. If we don't protect the crop plants from these three at appropriate time, definitely it will affect the growth and we cannot expect the yield. Let's discuss in detail about each of them. First one is weeds. What are weeds? Weeds are the unwanted plants which will grow along with the crop plants. Examples for such weeds are Xanthium, Amaranthus, etc. These weeds also grow along with the crop plants. The problem here is the weeds will absorb the nutrients which are provided to crop plants, and they compete for food, space, and even for light. So as we are providing nutrients to the crop plants, as these weeds absorb that nutrients, definitely the growth of the crop plants will be slowed down, and we can observe the decrease in yield. To avoid this situation, it is better to remove the weeds before we start the process of cultivation. If we observe the weeds even after removing during the process of cultivation, then we can control such weeds using some weedicides. Weedicides are the chemicals which are used to control the weeds. Examples for such weedicides is 2,4-D. In addition to this, the farmers used to do summer plowing. In summer season, they used to plow the soil till deeper regions to avoid weeds and insect pests. And also we can follow biological methods, like we can allow cattle to graze before we start cultivation, so that the cattle will feed on the weeds. In addition to this, we can also use some insects like cochineal insects which will avoid these weeds. This is about weeds and control methods. Next, now let's discuss about insect pests. These insect pests will affect the plant growth during the process of cultivation a lot. If we observe, these insect pests are in three different ways. The pests are like chewing insects. These insects will cut the plant parts like roots, stem, leaves, etc. And they are also like sucking insects, which will suck the plant juices from different parts of the plant. And the other type of insects, they are like boring insects, which will make holes in the various parts of the plant. To avoid these pests, what we have to do? We have to use pesticides. Children, we have to remember one thing here. We are using pesticides only to control the pests and to protect the plants from pests. But when we are using pests, we have to use it in less amounts so that it will not harm or it will not cause environmental pollution. or to avoid this, instead of using chemicals, we can also use biopesticides. Biopesticides are like children, for example, in California, they used to use Australian ladybirds. They will introduce this Australian ladybirds in citrus orchard to avoid insects. This is a biological control method. This is about insect pests, children, how they affect the plant growth. So let's discuss about the different types of diseases which generally we'll observe in plants. Children, how do the plants get diseases? Like how we will get diseases by different types of pathogens. In the same way, plants also gets diseases. The different types of pathogens are like bacteria, virus, fungus and different parasites. Okay, and these diseases are transmitted to these diseases are caused to plants by various agents like air, water, wind, etc. So how can we control these diseases? When we observe such type of diseases in the crop yielding plants, definitely we have to use pest control methods. When we use pest control methods, we can control the disease. But when we are using pesticides, the thing we have to be keep it in mind that as it is a chemical, we need to use it in minimal amount. So that we do not cause any harm to the environment. Unless and until we use pesticides in high amounts, we definitely will cause harm to the environment. That's why to reduce the pollution, to make eco-friendly nature, we have to use the minimal use of pesticides. Okay children, this is how we can control the diseases what we observed in different types of croplands. So children, let's discuss about storage of grains now. Till now we have discussed about different topics during the process of cultivation. With that much effort the farmer do the process of cultivation. When he receives the harvest, he has to store the grains in a safe place so that there will be no loss because of storage of grains. So let's see what are the factors affecting the storage of grains. The factors are again here biotic factors and abiotic factors. If we look at biotic factors, they are like bacteria, fungus, insects and rodents. They will damage the grains which are stored in the granary. And also abiotic factors like temperature and moisture also will damage the grains. Because of the impact of the biotic and abiotic factors, the seeds will get destroyed. We can observe seeds like discoloration, means the color of the seeds will be changed, and it will be followed by loss in weight. And we can observe the seeds with poor germinability. The seeds cannot germinate well. And also it will reduces the market value of this seed. So definitely it will be a loss to the farmer. So this is how the biotic and abiotic factors will show its impact on storage of grain. So how can we prevent this? Okay, so when we are storing the grains in particular granary, the granary should be maintained well. It should be cleaned well before we store the grains. And also, before we store the grains should be dried under the sunlight. When we store the grains in sunlight, definitely we should store on concrete surface so that there will be no seepage of moisture. And immediately after the storage, we should not we should not store the grains in the granary. First they should bring back to room temperature, then we need to store it in the grains. And next, when we are storing grains in the granary, we have to follow fumigation method using some chemical like methyl bromide, so that if any microorganisms are there, we can control that. Most of the microorganisms can be controlled by exposing it to sunlight. If once we expose to sunlight, definitely the moisture content in it will be reduced. So the grains do not allow the growth of microorganisms. In addition to that, we need to follow fumigation method also. So if we follow certain steps, definitely we can avoid the loss during storage of grains. Children, I think all of you are clear with the topic. With this, we have completed crop protection management, children. Thank you.